Hey, welcome, welcome. Let's streaming live here. Let's get this rocking and rolling. Welcome to your weekly training. I'm here to help you guys understand real estate investing as a whole, not just one little section, but as a retirement plan. That's what we're here for. So today I wanted to cover how I've done millions in real estate through a 5-step system. And I'm super excited to share this to you guys because it's a process that nobody really teaches. And it's so simple, yet it's really confusing out in the big world. And it's something I've had to come up with in order to be successful. So, I've done thousands in offers, thousands in real estate, millions in real estate, actually. I've done wholesale, fix and flip. Just in the last year alone, I did 1.2 million in multiple states, doing multiple strategies, the BRRRR strategy, flip, creative no money down strategies. And now I'm doing Airbnb. So it's a whole world of real estate that you get to get into. And it's limitless, right? So no one strategy will get you there. Like, you don't have to just go, oh, I'm only doing this one strategy. But to focus on one will get you there, right? So if you're ping-ponging, it'll be a little crazy to dial it down. And I think this is what keeps people stuck. Should I flip? Should I wholesale? Should I, right? And then you're in this Google tube world of, well, over here, this sounds great. Over here, that sounds great. How does it work for me, right? I have clients all over the nation working single family, multifamily, storage units too, doing flips, wholesale, money lending, buy and hold, basically the 4 exit strategies, right? Wholesale, fix and flip, buy and hold, and money lending. It's the only 4 things you get to choose from, okay? And here's why. Because everything else is an acquisition strategy. And this is really what confuses people. People don't necessarily understand the BRRRR strategy and all that it entails. People don't necessarily understand how to wholesale, or maybe they want to be a money lender, right? So this is what I help my clients to understand, is to know their time versus money situation, their resources, and their end goal. That's important. You need to know the story. What's the end goal? And I love that I'm helping people, change their lives, create their own economic independence, save on taxes. Who wants to pay more on taxes than what you have to, right? So if you can save on taxes, if you're making multi 6 and 7 figures in your business right now, you're paying way too much in taxes, I'm sure. I kind of geek out a little bit on the tax and legal side of things. I'm not a CPA or a financial advisor. However, what I see is most people give up on real estate because they had to pay too much in taxes, or they're an entrepreneur. They decided to quit their corporate job and now they're an entrepreneur and they don't understand the tax world. And like, oh my God, I got to pay so much in taxes. If I can help you understand how to pay next to zero, ethically, diligently, it doesn't happen overnight, right? It's strategy that I help you to ask your CPA, right? Help you to ask your CPA to set yourself up correctly so that you do pay less in taxes. In real estate, if you've ever read tax law, which I have, you'll know that real estate is the #1 way to save on taxes. So with that being said, clients I have across the nation in multiple states, doing multiple strategies, and so that they can retire when they desire. Like, this is their whole reason for doing real estate, right? Not just to make some cash flow, but to create that retirement plan. And that's what the retire early through real estate investing is all about. It's the bottom line wealth way, right? And if you guys don't know who I am, my name is Joanna Wright, founder of Bottom Line Wealth, and I help entrepreneurs, realtors, and newbies get started in real estate so that they can retire when they desire. It wasn't always this way though. So when I first started way back in the day, I'm going to date myself here. I've been in real estate for a couple of decades now, and I lost everything in 2008. Lost everything. I fell so hard. I hit every rock and branch on the way down, and I couldn't even afford a bottle of water. It led to a very horrible relationship. I've always been very independent, strong. I don't even know how this happened, but I just ended up in a very controlled relationship, abusive relationship. And I had no access to a phone, to a car, to my money, to make money, to anything. And I said, I can't do this. I don't even know how it got this way. But that's the trick of abusive people, right? Controlling narcissistic people. And I had to fight for myself, and I had to put my blinders on. And what I did was I turned to real estate. Like after I lost everything in 2008, I go, real estate's not for me. But it wasn't me, it was the market. We were duped by the banks, right? So I don't deal with banks if I can help it. And I haven't touched traditional financing in years. But what I'm saying is there's another way. You don't have to, right? I had to get super creative and learn a different way. And I started asking the sellers, like, what do you want? Like, how could we make this work? And real estate was my demise back in the day, but ended up being my savior to where I did 3.5 million from not even owning a bottle of water or, could afford it. Just, it changed my entire life, my well-being. And so I tell people about what I've done, and they started asking me, Joanna, can you teach me? How do you do this? How do you do that? Thus created my mentorship program so that I can help in a bigger way, so I can make a bigger impact. And what made this so powerful is that when I started making money, I went to the big gurus, if you will, and spent $40,000 on coaching program and got 6 coaching calls. 6 coaching calls, guys. And they weren't even structured. They were like, okay, what can I do for you today? There was no strategy. There was nothing laid out for me. And then I found something. I didn't want to waste my last call, right? I was so nervous of using my last call that I screwed up on a deal. And then it was all about, oh, well, we can't help you because you already made the offer. I'm like, oh. So I'm a disgruntled student. I'm trying to make a better path for people so that they can get what they need. I do what I call pocket coaching, where people get me on the phone through an app. It's I'm always in your pocket, basically. But I had to put my blinders on and really make this happen. And most of the people out there that would train would just give me one strategy. I'm like, it doesn't make sense for me. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So when I got super creative, making tons of calls, going out and making thousands of offers, again, I just asked them what they wanted. And not that the seller always got what they wanted, but I got to hear like what would make sense to them, right? And I'm like, well, I can't do this, but I could do that. Like we got real creative on the offer. And they're like, okay, let's do it. I'm like, really? I just bought a property, no money down. So no money out of my pocket, right? So there's a science behind this. There's a huge science behind this. And this brings out the geeky science person in me. When I was 5 years old, I wanted to be a mad scientist when I grew up, right? So I would always make little potions of the perfume and lotions and stuff in my room. I'd put them in little bottles or stuff I got from the kitchen. My mom would just be nuts. But this brings out the mad scientist in me, because I get to like put this to dash of this, dash of that, and poof, we've got a deal. And I have sellers giving me flowers, super grateful, giving me referrals, choosing me over hundreds of other investors that are knocking on their door. it's called being a human, first of all, right? Being a human, and not like knocking them in the knees like Greedo for lowball offers. I can't stand that. But anyways, so this, people kept coming to me saying, Joanna, well, what are you doing? How are you doing this? And, I've created my mentorship program because it was about making a bigger impact. I learned that there was a better way, a different way, and it served me to making millions in real estate, and it served others. And here's how it works, right? Like, I have clients like Adelia joining my program. She's a multi-six-figure realtor, and she had to think a different way, right? As an investor, she got tired of sliding her deals over to investors. She wanted to close on them herself. She wants to retire when she desires. She loves being a realtor, but she also needs to set up that generational wealth for her family. So in my program, she's like, oh my God, this is so different to think this way. You have to switch your hats, right? And so she closed on her first property within 90 days of being in the program. Super proud of her. She's on another deal right now. And I have multiple students. Let's see, Shanti's, I saved her. Here's the great thing is I get to review your guys' contracts, right? And so she's like, here's the deal. And she throws all the paperwork together. I'm like, do you know you're going to be paying an additional $67,000? It's written right here. She said, no way. So reading the fine print, right? Reading contracts, understanding them is another big deal, right? So, and with the way that I talk to sellers, she was actually able to get a deal under contract. Another 100 investors knocking on this person's door. I think it was like 98, right? Was the number that were knocking on this person's door. And they chose my client to work with because it's the way that I teach my clients to talk to sellers, right? So there's a whole script I give my clients to use. And then you make it yours, right? Like, you don't ever read anything verbatim. It's just you make it yours. Carissa, mother of 4, she was the only one that had the excuse that her kids ate her homework. So she bought a property out of state, and just a huge game changer for her and her family, creating the extra cash flow, having a growing asset, and having a system that she can rinse and repeat again and go get another one. She's actually looking right now. Becky, she's another huge success story that she got in, had no confidence whatsoever, had never done anything before. She was super timid about talking to sellers. And within, I think she was about 5 months in, was in escrow, right, on a property. And then she was in another escrow. And then she was in another escrow, closing on properties, right? And I'm like, I created a monster. She's like, I have so much confidence now, because she was shown a different way. And that's what's super important. My youngest client to retire was 28 years old, not having anything to do with real estate investing, and retired in 5 years. So if you guys have experience of some sort, like, you'd be ahead of the game. And if you don't, I mean, you could still get there. Anyone could get there, right? With this 5-step system. So this is totally what lights me up, is to just watch my clients win. Like, I'm making a bigger impact in the world. I'm teaching people to create their own wealth, their own economic independence, so that they can retire when they desire, right? And it doesn't mean sitting on the porch and doing nothing. It means they get to live their life, their purpose, and have fun, right? So the earlier you could do that, the better. We don't want to be on the geriatric bus going, oh, I wish I would have done this earlier so I can actually go out and enjoy the excursion on the cruise, right? But you're too, like, your knees hurt, your back hurts, everything hurts, so you don't want to go and do anything. So enjoy it while you can, right? I can go on and on about my clients. They're successful because there's a system, right? They're held accountable to it. Like, okay, we made this plan. Here you are. Did and this work, right? And they're never alone in the process. Like, I feel like that was one of my biggest hiccups when it came to really understanding real estate. That was one thing. But learning it along the way, the path along the way, making offers, talking to sellers, knowing my numbers, I had no one to talk to about it. No one to pick up the phone and go, hey, can you review this and let me know your thoughts, right? Like, that was a huge deal. The first time I had someone do that with me. And it was just a random thing. It wasn't like the coaching that I paid for. It's it's powerful to have someone in your corner and by your side when you're doing real estate investing, because you could easily screw up. I asked, I was on a Facebook group, and this one gal, she posted in one of the groups I belong to, and she says, I did my first fix and flip. I only lost $31,000. And I went, oh my God, that's horrible. So I've heard a lot of horror stories about real estate investing, and you need to get educated. You need to get off Google tubing. You need to get off the big jigsaw puzzle, big wall of jigsaw puzzles, trying to fit different pieces together by what you YouTubed and Googled on how it should work. You need to make a plan, right? So now my clients go out with confidence, and they have a customized strategy. Like, it's not what they found somebody else did. It's what works for them. They have the power to create their own economic independence now. So that's my ripple in the world that I love doing. I'll go over the 5-step process. Let me just pull this up here real quick. How to close on property in any market. It doesn't matter where you're at. I hear one of my clients in Colorado said, I can't invest here. It's too expensive. So, like, for tax purposes, I said, where do you like to travel? She goes, well, I go to Virginia a lot. And I said, well, why don't you buy something there? And this way, her mom's there, by the way. So this way she saves on taxes because it's a business write-off to go see her mom, right? Because she has property over there. Another gentleman over here, I'm in Pennsylvania. Another gentleman over here goes to Oklahoma to see his baby girl all the time. So buying a property in Oklahoma makes it a business write-off to go see his little girl all the time. So he can keep more of the money that he makes and see her more often, right? And create that generational wealth that helps her to have a better life as well. So basically, this is what I teach my high-level clients in the Retire Mastermind program. Let me share this with you real quick. So it's really a 5-step system, quite frankly. It's just a 5-step system. And here it is. Learning about your market and the exit strategy. Excuse me. What market are you going to be in? What makes sense according to your time and resources? What exit strategy? Now there's only 4, right? Wholesale, fix and flip, buy and hold, and money lending. That's it. I teach you to do money lending, how to hold and be a landlord, how to vet tenants, how to flip a property, how to vet a contractor, know the numbers, the holding, and even if you're going to wholesale, right? Because why should you have to choose? Why should you limit yourself to one way? And I always explain to my clients, it's like playing poker. And you get a, hand of 5 cards and you go, oh, I'm going to discard these and I'll play out these cards and I'll, so that's basically like, as an advanced investor going to the courthouse steps, buying 15 properties and go, oh, I'll wholesale 7 of those and I'll keep the rest. right? So you could still make money being a wholesale. You don't not buy them, right? You could still make money. Anyway, so there's strategy behind it, a whole science that I put together for my clients so that they can choose, write out a whole plan for the property, and then execute. So knowing your market is huge. Most people have no idea what their market's doing. And they just go, oh, well, so-and-so did this, so I'm going to do it. No, no, no. You need to know what you're doing in your market, right? So finding deals. I have, excuse me. I teach a financial fitness class, and my partner's taking that over today. Anyway, so finding deals in today's market. This is like people's number one, issue is they're like, well, I just can't find the deals. I help you to find those in any market. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. And knowing your numbers. So a lot of people come to me with just analysis paralysis. And they're like, I have no idea what the numbers are supposed to be. How are repairs and this, that, and the other thing. Or maybe you know what some of this is, but you're like, how does it all fit together for me? How do I close on it, right? I don't have the time, the money, or I have the money, but I don't have the time. Like there's all kinds of different situations, right? And then building relationships. Building team is super important. Knowing who's going to be on your team. I always say you're going to have to kiss a lot of frogs, right? You're going to have to kiss a lot of frogs to get to what you need. And one of my clients, she's hit some roadblocks recently. And I mean, I have hit a ton of roadblocks in my decades of experience in real estate. And how you get through them and over them. Sometimes some guidance in that department really helps, because you're like, well, how do I get over it, around it? I can't get through it. So, and then if you have someone of experience, like I have, who's faced it before, gets you over the hurdle a whole lot faster than you trying to guess how it should work, right? So having someone in your corner by your side, team, is super important. And then how to fund your deal. Most people go, well, I can't do real estate because I can't fund it, right? I don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars to do real estate. Or maybe you do have real estate, millions of dollars, and you're like, well, how do I invest it, right? So a strategic way in both being a money lender, even if it's $2,000 or it's millions of dollars, it just depends on the strategy. There's all kinds of different ways to participate in the 4 exit strategies. This is all you get to choose from. Okay. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys to like break it down into just 5 steps. Once you see the 5 steps and you master each one of them, this is what my clients do inside of the Retire program, is they're mastering each one of these. And then they have a skill set that will never leave them, right? A skill set that will never leave them. Maybe you're leveraging a realtor because you have to work all day and you can't be making personal phone calls to sellers. Or maybe you just don't want to call sellers, right? But training your realtor on what you need. So again, there's so much that goes into this, and this is why I'm doing this training here today, so you guys can see there's another way, right? There's another way, and this is how I've helped my clients to be successful. Stop Google tubing, as I call it. Stop Google tubing and trying to figure it out on your own. Like, just get the speed going, get to the next step, to the next step, to the next step, right? And quit. I've had one of my clients came to me and says, I've been Googling and YouTubing for the last 10 years. And it wasn't until I started working with you, Joanna, that I took action. You took action, put systems in place. And this is what a lot of us need. It's like, what system do I need? How do I create that system? My clients get to learn the 4 exit strategies: wholesale, fix and flip, buy and hold, and money lending. And it's based on their time and resources, their story, right? Their end goal that they want. And then we customize a plan that fits them, right? That would fit you. Because everyone says, but Joanna, I'm different. But Joanna, I need this. But Joanna, it's customized to fit you, and everyone's in their own spot, right? Everyone's in their own direction, their own retirement plan. You get to create your own retirement plan. Isn't that cool? And it's not based off the stock market. It's a lot safer than the stock market. So I invite you to jump on a call with one of the team members. We'll put a link here down below. If you would like to know how my program works, or you need some of my many resources that I have, we'll discern what that is on the call. My team member will go, oh, you just need this and you could rock and roll. And we're happy to provide. It's just a quick 15-minute call to say hello, get to know you, and if there's something that we can give you, a resource, a tweak in what you're already doing, or get you on a call with me to make a personal customized plan, right? So once you've gone through my team member and she sees what you need, then she'll go like, okay, Joanna, they need a plan. And then she'll book you on a call with me personally, and then we'll create a retirement plan for you. We'll see how it works. I'll walk you through how you can retire early through real estate investing. It's my whole mission, right? So my youngest client retired at 28 years old. And when you have the opportunity to retire, it means you're financially free, right? It means you're financially free to do whatever you want to do. Go be with your grandkids, go make some kids. It's not that you stop living. So I've had people come to me go, I'll never stop working. I love my job. Well, then don't. But now you have the freedom to do so, to follow your passion and not have to worry about financial stability. Because the whole reason I started in real estate investing is my landlord had a stroke. She had been living off real estate her entire life, and she had a stroke. Her daughter came to my door in my early 20s. This is in my early 20s. This is how I started. And said, we need to sell off some of her inventory. And to tell you the truth, I'm like, inventory, what? What do you mean? How much inventory she's got? What did you need? And so we got first right to purchase the property. And from that, I didn't realize it at the time, but later in life, I realized what a great wealth retirement plan to have real estate back you up, to subsidize her long-term care that she needed now that she had a stroke. Because my friends, America is very unhealthy, overweight, and our money, our dollar is falling on the floor. It's sinking like the Titanic. So basically, the most secure thing that you can do for your future, and if you want to leave a legacy for generational and do generational wealth, real estate is the number one way to do this, because it's going to float with the market. As things are going up, real estate's going up. If you hold $1 in your hand or put it in the jar and bury it in your backyard, it's going to be worth less later than it is that day you put it there. If you put it into real estate, it's going to grow with the market. Okay. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Let me know if you got value, and book your call so that we can get a customized plan going for you. The link is below, and I look forward to connecting with you guys soon. I hope you guys have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you then. Bye-bye.